Welcome to the ToKnight Show with Superintendent Shannon Cheek, your go-to podcast for staying in the know about all the exciting happenings in your local school community. We know that we are stronger together, so today's conversation is designed to give you a greater opportunity to be actively engaged in the success of our students. And now, Mr. Cheek.
Good afternoon or good evening. This is Shannon Cheek, Superintendent at Arthur CUSD 305. And today I'm joined by three of our wonderful employees. We have Mrs. Renee Brown, librarian. We have Mrs. Jan Harris, teacher at AGS. And we have Mrs. Jennifer Schrock, who wears lots of hats actually. Like this year, you've been an aide and a fill-in teacher and whatever else is required, right? So we're here today. I'm excited to talk about Family Literacy Night, and that's going to be the main focus of our conversation today. But before we do that, maybe why don't we just go around and for those that may not know who you are, just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your history in the district and your role. Whoever would like to start would be fine.
Okay, I'll start. Jennifer Schrock. I am currently the library aide at Arthur Grade School. I've been in the district for 5 years. Like you said, a variety of roles. I did not grow up here, so married and moved back here because my husband grew up here. But I love the town, love the district, excited to be here.
So my name is Renee Brown. I am the district librarian. I started the role of district librarian about 6 years ago. I believe it might have been the same year that you took on our role as superintendent. Other than that, I was a librarian in our district for about, I think I'm in my 16th year. I started in the education field a little later in life. I did other things prior to joining the education world, but I got my master's degree in library and information science and started working here, and I don't know what else to say. I think
Perfect.
that's about it.
Hi, my name is Jan Harris. I'm a Title I teacher. I've been with the district for almost 30 years, and that's all I've ever taught is Title I. I met my husband at the U of I, and his family business was down here, so that is how I ended up in the Arthur Atwood area.
Excellent. Go Illini. So we're here again, I mentioned earlier, to talk a little bit about the Family Literacy Evening event that we have coming up for K-5 Nightly Reading Program. That's going to be on March 7th, is that correct?
Yes.
Would you like to maybe tell us a little bit about what that evening is going to look like and what you've done up to this point and what our kids are involved in and just...
Sure. So the Family Literacy event is going to be the culminating event that wraps up what our communities have been involved with when we did our nightly reading program. So the nightly reading program this year was all around the book Mustaches for Maddie. And so every family in our district that has a student in kindergarten through 5th grade received a copy of the book, and we engaged in a lot of reading activities and literacy activities at school and at home. And that's been going on now for a couple of weeks, and it ends right around the first day of March, around March 4th, I think is when it ends. And so our literacy event is the culminating event to celebrate literacy and reading together with our communities and with our families. And so the event itself, if we want to talk about the event itself, we've been brainstorming all kinds of different activities and ideas of what we can do to engage the families for an evening. It's from 6 to 7:30. I know that we have scheduled a book fair to come that night if people want to shop at a book fair. I know that Mrs. Harris has secured a donation for hot dogs
And chips and water, so you can come and eat dinner.
and that is for free. We have several games. I think Mrs. Schrock, you know, about 10 apples up on top, some sort of game that the kids are going to play around the Dr. Seuss book. We've invited some guest readers. So we have a firefighter coming all in his firefighter gear. We have the Paw Print Ministries coming where the kids can sit down and read a book to a dog. We have cookie decorating. If you give a mouse a cookie, cookie decorating. What else do we have coming up here? Snowflake Bentley crafts. Oh, we have a brown bear book walk, like a cakewalk. So we read out loud, and then when they stop reading, you land on a square, and that's how you win a book, and not a cake. You're winning a book. And we're going to try a little free little library section too, where we're encouraging people to bring a book if they have books at home that they are done with and they want to donate them, bring them, set them on the table, and then you can take something that you don't have yet. And so we're a little book exchange going on that night as well. Anything else that I'm thinking or forgetting?
No, I mean, the idea is to just kind of close out the event and encourage families to come. And we want the kids just to see how exciting reading can be. And so each station is connected with a children's book. So that was the idea.
That's been a lot. That's a lot of stuff in one
It's a
evening,
lot.
right?
It's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot, isn't it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when they're so they aren't expected to do everything, but they'll walk in the door and they'll get a passport, and if they can get to 6 stations in an evening, then they get a free bag of popcorn. So
Awesome.
it's just kind of a fun little exploration of all the different literacy events that we'll have set up for them.
Excellent. And again, that's March 7th, right, in the evening. What time again?
It is from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
This year, it is going to be located in Atwood, so
Okay.
it will be at the Atwood Hammond Cafeteria.
Okay, great, great. So maybe talk a little bit about the history of this particular event and some things you've done in the past and how it's grown and maybe how long you've done it. Just give our public some historical background on the program.
Sure. I know that, like I mentioned earlier, the year that I became the district librarian is the year I became aware of a grant that was being offered by our Arthur Education Foundation. It was a faculty mini grant, and it was the first I had learned about it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be really a great opportunity as me moving into a role where I'm now touching all 4 buildings. What can I do with some grant money that could impact literacy and getting families to read together, a little bit more family involvement. So I pitched the idea to the administration at the time. We had 3 goals. Our goal was to try and work towards creating lifelong readers. Our goal was also to increase family involvement and to create literacy relationships across the buildings in the district. So those were our 3 main goals when we started this whole program. And then we reached out to I reached out to some colleagues in the 3 elementary buildings. We pooled our efforts together. We wrote the grant. We got the grant, and so combined we had $1,500 to be able to try to do something along this line. At the time, I had been aware of a program called One District, One Book, and it's a prepackaged program that you can purchase, and it kind of guides you through how to run one of these programs. And so our first book was The Tale of Despero. You remember The Tale of Despero? One of my favorites anyway. And so we used that One District, One Book to guide us through that event. I want to say so much. The program was successful, so we reapplied for the grant and we got it again. And this time we learned that maybe we could save a little money if we designed this program ourselves. So we then sort of abandoned the One District, One Book, and we created our own program. And at the time, Amy Ty, who is now our junior high math teacher, was on our committee, and she's the one that came up with the idea, well, let's call it nightly reading. So we like that. So it's been called nightly reading ever since. And so the concept of nightly reading is that we purchase and we provide a copy of the book, whatever the book is that we choose. We provide a copy for every family member in our district who has students who are in school in ages kindergarten through 5th grade. Some years we've included 6th grade, and some years we've just stayed down K through 5. And so then the idea is we're all reading together. We're all reading the same book. Families at home, students at school, teachers, staff, and we generate activities to get them to talk about the book, because it's very fun to be able to have a friend or a relative that you can communicate with about the book. And so the event includes things like daily trivia questions and prizes, contests, um, just fun little activities that we do throughout the school year. And then we also have activities that we encourage them to do at home, and they bring it back to school. And we have a reading guide that so they know what chapter to read, whichever day of the week it is. And that's what the program is all about. And that's how it started. And then every year we've been able to repeat that. We've been able to get the grant. Every year we present to the Arthur Education Foundation about what the program did. We've done, our first book was The Tale of Despero, and then we did
The Chocolate Touch.
The Chocolate Touch. That was a fun one. We skipped a year, we skipped COVID year, and then we came back with A Boy Called Bat and
The Mouse and the Motorcycle.
Mouse and the Motorcycle, and then this year is Mustaches for Maddie.
One thing I want to point out is I really appreciate the passion that you have shown today in talking about the program. It's evident that it's really important. I also appreciate that it's about literacy, but you've mentioned lots of things in our conversation so far, like I don't want to call it byproducts, but things that are happening as a result of the program, bringing our communities together, bringing families together. You talked about being a district-wide initiative, bringing our buildings together. And since I've been here, this is year 5, I've heard nothing but positives. So I think that you should feel really good about the program and feel good that you're accomplishing those things. So it's really exciting to see. So what is maybe one thing, and it can be one of you or all 3 of you can speak to this, but maybe something that you're most proud of in regards to the program?
I really like that the kids look forward to this every year, so they get excited and they'll be asking you every day, like, when are we reading the book? What's our book this year? I like to see that. I think the parent and community involvement is key. I like to see last year with the Mouse on a Motorcycle, we distributed books around town to businesses. They could hand out as well. And we took students in to explain. And afterwards, I got an email from a business owner, oh, thanks for involving us. This is great. The students did really well presenting. Those are the kinds of things that they mean a lot. So that's one thing I really appreciate about this program.
And I like some of the books that we've chosen. The authors have written additional books. And so it really got the kids involved and interested in reading beyond just that book.
Absolutely. I know A Boy Called Bat. The kids, especially, I think it was second grade at the time, that's specifically who I am remembering anyway. They loved A Boy Called Bat. So then they ordered as a class and continued reading her second book and her third book. And so it just prompted, yet more reading for the kids to enjoy. So I enjoy that. I'm a big sucker for, reading to your kids. I love that. I love to hear the stories when moms or even kids come to me and say, oh, well, we're on chapter 3, we haven't missed a chapter yet. Or I think that is so important. It changes a person's life if you can read to them. I know my favorite phrase is read every day. It's really important that you read every day, especially if you're raising children. Makes a big difference. And so that's something I like to hear. I also get inspired. It's been pretty much when we wrap up a book, shortly after that, when I'm in the library and the kids are in the library and they're choosing their books, I will see on their own forming their own little book clubs, and I just get so tickled by that. I think, oh, let's all get this book together, and we're going to read this book together, and we're going to have our own book club. And so that's important. I think that's very important, and so I enjoy seeing that happen.
It's an accountability piece too, right? Holding each other accountable. So you might have spoke to this, and maybe I missed it, and maybe you didn't. But the books that we've chosen, how do those get chosen? What's the process for that?
So it's a little limiting. So I've spoken about how much money we get to spend on this grant, and so or from the grant money, and we like to spend around $2 a book. So, and we're usually typically buying around 470 books. So that kind of guides us what we could choose from. So we partner with Scholastic. Scholastic has a program called Family and Community Engagement. It's called FACE. And so I work with them and they supply me with a list of books that would be within our price range.
Okay.
And so we have to whittle out things that might be too young, things that might be too old. We want a book, roughly around 100, a little over 100 pages. It's really good to be able to challenge younger students, especially if they're being read to read something that having them be read to something that is beyond their comprehension level. So it's good to stretch the younger ones at a higher reading level, yet also keep it engaging enough for those who are reading on their own to still be engaged in the story. So all of those criteria go into the book selection itself. I think that moving forward, and we tried a little bit last year, is finding a way to make improvements to that book selection process. I would love to be able to get maybe the fifth graders or sixth graders from one year to get involved and engaged in selecting the book for the following program. I know you had an idea too of inviting a parent to come in and join our nightly reading committee, help us come up with the activities that we need to do, plan these literacy events that we're planning. I mean, this is all done simply by us, getting together and coming up with these ideas. And I do have to thank on our committee, it's not only Jennifer and Jan that they're representing the Arthur Grade School, but we also have Stephanie Harris. She is the library aide at the Lovington Grade School. Amy Ty has been a big helper in writing that grant with us every year. So she's a huge help. Chrissy Patterson is the Title I teacher at the Atwood Hammond Grade School, and Lindsay Herring, library aide at Atwood Hammond Grade School. All of us together, we we meet when we can meet. This is usually typically not during the school day. There's not a lot of time scheduled in a school day for these kinds of meetings. So, we're all passionate about it and we want to make it work and we want to make it happen. And so big thanks to all those people who are a part of it.
Excellent. And you've talked a little bit about how the program's kind of evolved and grown and the process that you have put in place to continue growing the program. Do you have thoughts, any of you, about where this could be heading and maybe a vision for where you'd like to see it head or grow and what it might look like in the future?
I do, like my sorry. I really the whole goal of this, I think, and you might know other communities in our area that do something similar to this where they have a district or maybe it's even a school building and they do a book club, if you will, for the whole school or for the whole grade levels. I think that's a really good idea. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think it's a really good idea. I would like to see our communities embrace these books and read along with us. That's a step that I haven't quite figured out how to do yet. I haven't figured out how to get our community to know that we're doing it. I know that we've put books out in the public those businesses and the public libraries, but I want our communities to go, oh, it's January. Wonder what the school's going to read this year. I want that. And so that's something that I think all of us work together to try to figure out how can we make this become a solid thing every year. So that would be a vision that I have to try to get it to grow.
Excellent. Anybody else, or does that cover it?
Yeah. I mean,
So again, the event is March 7th at Atwood Hammond Grade School, and encourage everybody to come. You have so many great things happening. Before we wrap up, I'd like to maybe just say, is there anything else that I know you do much more than this program? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or highlight that you have going on, or you're going to have coming up, or things that you're proud of and want to highlight?
This is the first year, the Arthur Masonic Lodge, along with the Illinois Masonic Children's Assistance Program, we are participating in a Bikes for Books program. So at the end of May, we will be drawing a winner from each grade school, and one of those students will be receiving a free bike and a helmet.
Excellent.
It's all based on reading books, completing your badges, and then getting your name put in there.
So do they get their name entered by how many books they read, or how does that
Well, talk about the program. 'Cause that's a really good program that you guys have.
Well, the buildings have, each student has a goal, a
Mhm.
reading goal. So in Arthur, when you, accomplish your goal each quarter, you get a badge.
Okay.
So I believe that is going to be how they get their name in the drawing.
Okay.
So they have a red badge, and then a bronze badge, a silver badge, and a gold badge.
Very cool.
And it's a big deal. They
It
get
is.
their picture taken, and they get some kind of prize, I think it is, every time they reach a certain
Mhm.
level. It's fun.
And we've had some really good sponsors between Casey's and Pizza Slices and Yoder's and a free children's meal.
Food's
That
always
was-
good,
Yes,
right?
it is. So those have been awesome incentives, but this is just something to add to that. So
Another
really
awesome
excited to do
program.
that.
Very cool. What else do we have?
I know that in the library, we do the Illinois Reader's Choice Award. We call it the Joust Read
Mhm.
program. And so that's coming up here too. Read Across America Week is that first week of March.
Mhm.
And so we end the promotion of those Illinois Reader's Choice program with parties and competitions, if you will. So like the little kids, K through third grade, if they can read, there's 20 books on each list. So if they can read at least 5 of those 20 books on their list, they get invited to a marshmallow party. And there's a little bit of excitement happening right now. Everybody's kind of pushing to get that 5th book read. And they get to go to a marshmallow party, and we have peeps, and we play bingo and have prizes, and that's just a big deal. And then this year we're doing, for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, we're doing a battle of the books. And so this is new. And Jennifer and I were talking about that this morning, like how is it going to look? What is a battle of the books? So we're
The
trying
logistics are still in the works.
we're trying to figure that
Hot
out.
off the press, right?
But, the kids don't know that. They think we're all on top of it, but we're still trying to figure it out. But so yeah, they had 20 books to read from, and they had to form teams, and then they game show style. They try to answer this. Whoever can answer the most questions will win. And then also we have a junior high competition as well. We're doing staff versus students.
Staff's winning at the moment.
Staff is winning in Arthur. Staff is winning in Atwood, but there's a pretty neck and neck battle in Lovington. So we'll see how that one goes. But
Nothing motivates more than a little competition,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So excellent.
Mm.
Excellent. So, well, I just want to thank all 3 of you for taking time. I know that we're filming this during the school day, so it does take time from your day. So I appreciate you giving up part of your afternoon to come and visit, and I really do appreciate your passion and excitement for the programs, and I hope that we have a great turnout, because I know you put a lot of time and you put a lot of effort into it to make it a special night for everybody. So again, wish you all the best, and thank you again for coming on. So again, March 7th, Atwood Hammond Grade School. What time again? 6 to 7:30. So 6 to 7:30, Atwood Hammond Grade School, March 7th. Please be there. Again, on behalf of everyone today, Shannon Cheek, Superintendent, Arthur CUSD 305. That's it.
A broadcast of Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond Community Unit School District number 305. Special thanks to today's guests. This podcast is produced for you by the Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond Broadcasting class.